Hello. I came to talk to you guys about complaining. This one's a really big one because as believers, we don't like to complain because we're with God. What do you really have to complain about when you're with God, right? I mean, all this irrelevant stuff, you don't really want to complain about that. But we try to hold it all together. Like, why? Why, as godly people, do we try to hold everything together to act like we're perfect just for somebody else's benefit? The phrase that really tripped me up today is basically on my Instagram. It has the title of it is God Says, and it has like a phrase, and sometimes God speaks to me through like social media quotes and all that type of stuff. So I'm looking at it, and at the end of the thing, it says, refrain from doing what you want and do what I want you to do. And that didn't really sit too well with me because I'm just like, okay, I know I have to refrain from doing what I want. Not my will, but yours. But I did that a long time ago. And I basically was annoyed. I was annoyed because I couldn't complain about it. And I just had to do it. And I've been doing that for a while. And where I don't complain about things and I suck it up and I just do it without question. Without anything. And no matter how hard I want the question or how bad I really want the answer, I just choose to do whatever. And I want to say I'm going to do what I'm led to do, and that will be great enough. But then other times I try to suck it up and say I have to do all these types of things and everything and be a robot. And that's not good enough either. So what is? Do I let myself out and do I let go of what I can't control and just let everything out and let God know? Or do I refrain from speaking and just do what I'm told? No matter how bad I want to complain, and even as believers and as preachers, we say, do not complain because He's God. He's done everything for you, and you make me feel so guilty for it. Like, I know He's done everything for me, but dang, I can't keep this all bottled up inside. It's just too much in my head. And I try to fight the battles within my mind, but I just end up telling myself, oh, God's got it, you're going to be okay. And then the other half of me says, no, you have to do what you have to do. Be a soldier, don't ask questions, stay in line, and be perfect. And even today, with all these quotes and everything, and I felt like I wasn't doing enough because I'm doing stuff for me, and I know I'm supposed to be doing stuff for God's people, but what about me, right? I'm doing stuff for me, and it makes me feel guilty about it. I'm just like, why would God say that? But even then, not everything is from God, even though it has God's name on it. We have to think about that too, about how the enemy can trick us with just one simple word, and it could change and make it into a big chaotic mess. Because even with watching TV, and I try to convince myself that it's not how much you watch TV, it's about whether you worship it or not. Because who wants to idolize things, right? Like, that's the last thing I would want to do. And then I just think to myself, well, maybe it's the amount of TV I watch. Maybe I should stop watching it. My mind would be clear, but it would just be silent. And I think about fasting. I'm just like, wait, what should I fast from? Should I fast from YouTube sermons or should I fast from TV? Because the most obvious answer would be YouTube sermons, when I find myself just overthinking everything. And I can't complain about it. So it's just all bottled up inside my mind. It's causing me headaches every night. And I continue to watch TV. I continue to do the things, and I hear God's voice when I speak to Him, and I just feel like everything's going to be okay. Then I go back to my natural chaotic world, and everything's just not the same. I wish I can go back to the first time I was a believer, it was just me and God, and I would play games, watch TV, and do worse than what I'm doing now, and I would hear Him clearly. So what's changed? Is it the fact that I want to be involved more, or is it the fact that I won't give myself a break? Because many times as believers, we tell ourselves to not complain, but that's just holding us hostage and suffocating our minds. we don't let ourselves breathe sometimes. I don't know what's going on with people, but I know what's going on with me, where sometimes I suffocate myself and I call it God's masterpiece. What? Why would you want to suffocate yourself, but by sucking up everything and making sure that everything's perfect? Because I know we love to serve God's people, and I'm one of those people, but sometimes when I do stuff for myself, it makes me feel selfish instead of selfless. And I can't complain about it. Constantly tired, constantly thinking about it, but giving it to God and telling God about it just seems so wrong. I don't really know how to tell you this, but it's like a feeling inside where you just have to keep everything together. I don't know how many people have this feeling, but this feeling often occurs so many times. Or if I let myself go, if I let myself tell God stuff, if I let myself cuss one word, everything will just fall apart from the beginning, and I don't want to start over. That's just doing too much. And even then I try to say positive things, but I also love joking and being sarcastic. And I can't complain about it. Because I think about all the times God has been so good to me, so why would I complain about this? There are people who are on their deathbeds right now, and I'm complaining about overthinking. Right? Because I start to compare myself to other things that are not in my story right now, nor in my season. And I look at other people and I'm just like, yeah, I can't complain about it. I can't want that, and I can't have that, and I just can't. I keep telling myself, you can't be this, and you can't do that, but I never stop to think about what I can do. But in order to let myself think about what I can do, I have to let myself complain first. That's the hardest thing to do, because when you let yourself open up like that, there's no telling what could come out of your mouth. And I'm one of those people where when I get stuff so balled up inside that sometimes when it comes out, it's not pretty. And the last thing I would want to do is hurt God, because that hurts me. But I have to remember that He's also understanding. But even then, in my mind, I think about how people illustrate God in so many different ways. Sometimes there's harsh God, sometimes there's understanding God, sometimes there's sad God, sometimes there's mad God, sometimes there's happy God. And I'm just like, well, which one is with me? Maybe He's all in one, I don't know. He's never been harsh with me, only truthful. So I just think to myself, I don't want that. I don't want to make Him mad. I don't want to go to that limit, so I keep everything all bottled up inside thinking that it's going to help. It only makes it worse. And I just had to speak the truth today, because a lot of people are stuck in this moment where you want to keep it all together, suck it up, and be the perfect godly child. And in reality, there's no such thing. Can't. Even Jesus' disciples complained, nagged. And I just think to myself, I'm tired of this. Why would I want to nag to God? Who wants to hear that? Because I don't. Sometimes I have to get it out. Sometimes I just have to. I don't know. It's better than suffocating. Better than fighting the thoughts alone. I don't know. But what I did come here to say is, it's okay to complain sometimes. It's going to feel wrong, but you're going to feel free. And complain out loud. That will help you very much. Don't keep it all up, bottled up in your mind. I'm one of those people who think things in their mind a lot and like talk to themselves in their mind. Because if I actually say everything out loud, then people think I'm crazy. But it's good to speak out loud and tell God with your mouth, because He's always listening no matter what, in a time where He's not. So complain about your situation, because you're going to do it anyway. Might as well complain to God rather than complain to people. He's the only one that understands your feelings, your thoughts, your everything. And don't tell yourself that you can't complain because he's been so good to you, because even though that is a fact, we are people and he does understand us. And would you rather be suffocated in your mind or free? Because that's where God wants us to be, right? Free in our mind. If that's a necessary step to take, then take it. He's still going to love you on the other side.